live. Thank you for joining us today. This is Wilson Chua, and I'm coming to you straight and live from Singapore. And joining us today are our friends, Tsar Umang, a co-founder of mine sa projectbus.org, and he's also the tech lead for TMDC Solutions based in Pangasinan. We're also joined today by Mark Brusola, Upsmart Strategy Consulting Inc. out of Makati, and three of my staff, Justine, Marvin, and Jerry, who are supposedly still unattached and available. Okay, so to start, Tsar, would you want to start your presentation?
Sige. Ayan. Ayan. So everybody could see it?
Yep,
Yeah, good.
good on my part.
Okay. So actually, I'll be showing you I'll be discussing on two-factor authentication, and at the same time, how we could actually use Google Authenticator as the two-factor authentication software for it. So, ayan. Okay. Okay, so let's talk a bit of security, no? Why password is not enough, no? Sabi, may password ka na, bakit hindi pa 'yon, 'di ba? Bakit parang kailangan mo na naman ng another para sa ano, sa ano mo, no, sa security. Okay.
Level up. Yeah,
Level up,
ile-level up mo yung mga password security mo. Oo.
password security. So sa password lang 'yan, and then your online assets, hindi sa relationship.
Oo.
Or, ano lang. So it's basically our password kasi it's crackable, no? So kahit na anong education yung ibigay natin, there will always be a chance na there's a user that they will be using their birthday, their pet's name, or even their nickname, no? Or even their mother's name, ginagawa nila yan, no? And more. And then they use the same password all throughout their online assets. So pag isa lang ang na-hack sa kanila account, everything will
Hack na lahat.
na-hack na lahat, no? And worse, and also I know some of the developers, and I myself before have this na ano, parang irresponsible. I use both the username and
Admin,
password
admin.
admin, and then I forget to change it, no? So
Allah, oo.
delikado. So, dati kasi hindi pa ako ganun covered with security. I just create the application, then just provide it. So, kaya ngayon, just to help to safeguard it, we will be needing a two-factor authentication. So, it's another layer, no? There's some may third pa nga eh. Beside from giving you a code, they will even be doing a call, no, sa'yo,
Oh. And
using a
Char,
machine. Yeah.
if I may add, kasi sa larangan or in the
Mm.
field of security, there are dedicated software that does nothing but just brute force guessing of the password based
Yes.
on dictionary attack. Yan ang mga. So even though you're not using your birthday or pet's name or something personal to
Mm.
you, as long as that word exists in a dictionary, now
Yes.
nakakrak din yan.
Yes, it's crackable, no. Meron talaga 'yan eh. They really do just to hack or to crack your password. Yan.
And yeah, oo. Some other ways that your passwords can be compromised. You go to a cyber cafe and rent a unit
Mm.
that has a what we call a keylogger.
Yes, yan, yung keylogger pa.
Or you go to a cafe, wag na tayo magbanggit ng pangalan, and you use their Wi-Fi not knowing na meron din silang listening device. So,
Yes.
yun. So those are all the ways that some of the ways that your login accounts can be compromised. And
Mm.
so people are now starting to ask, what can we do? And this is the segue of why I invited Tsar to help us show us how to code two-factor authentication.
Yeah. Ayan. Okay. So, yun yung ano natin eh. Dapat i-ano rin natin, educate natin, no? Pero even if with all the education and information drive on using strong password, there will always be a danger. So, kaya tayo gumagamit ng two-factor authentication. Okay. So, what is 2FA or two-factor authentication? It's basically an extra layer of security where it can be something you know, somewhere you know, something you have, something you are, or something you just have known and forget. So this is where authenticators actually go. So dati, nung hindi pa uso yung mga authenticator na ganito, pagka-login mo, they will be asking, when is your birthday? What is your pet's name? So something like that. So it's a question that you could directly answer or not as a user, then just to prevent your account to be accessed. And then they saw na nagiging ano rin yon yung ganong klaseng method. So they use this authenticator. So bakit sabi nga natin, you just have known and forget. Let's say for example, a code, ngayon mo lang siya nalaman and then basically you forget kasi hindi mo na siya ma-reuse. So that's actually how Google Authenticator work. You cannot reuse or recycle those codes. No?
And just a bit of a trivia. I remember before something happened in Singapore where the passwords of bank accounts were stolen one way or the other.
Mm,
And so a lot of money changed hands. And as a result of that, banks in Singapore now will give you these types of token.
mm,
So in addition to your password, your account name, they will ask you to enter the number that you see in the token. And
yes.
more recently, yan nga, sinasabi mo, they've now migrated to mobile-based apps. Wala nang
Yes.
token-token. Yeah.
Wala na. Actually, ganito ata yan eh, yung luma.
Yung
Ah,
luma.
si HSBC yung naalala ko eh, na gumamit
Meron
dito
ka pa
dati.
bang sample, Jane? Pakita natin.
Oo.
Sige, go ahead.
Oo.
Habang hinahanap namin yung sample
Oo.
namin.
So yan, two types is hardware and software. So example natin is si Google Authenticator. So ito yun, no, yung hardware natin. Ayan, yung ganyan.
Isa yan. Isang bangko yan. Ito, isang bangko rin. Kaya,
Oo.
tinan mo, no? Napaka, ito, HSBC.
Oo.
Yan, so marami.
Ayun.
One per bank.
One per bank. Tapos meron din kaming naalala na 2FA. We do this usually kasi napatakbo lang namin yung solution dati sa Linux. You have this flash drive, no? Siya yung nagge-generate ng code. Tapos ipapasok mo siya sa PC. Hindi mo actually malalaman yung code. Basta nag-aano lang siya. Siya na mismo magpapasok. Then saka ka lang makaka-login with that particular ano. So base 32 din ang ginagamit niya na digestion instruction para doon. Ayun. So, so how does it actually work, ano? So, yung two-factor authentication kasi when you log in, it notifies the server and the digestion server natin. Okay, paano 'yon? Okay. It notifies na nag-log in si let's say si Mr. Mark, nag-log in. Tama yung username password. Okay, now it will say na, this is a valid account. And then it will then be notifying the digestion server and then it will send you a code. And then once na naipasok mo yung code, saka kanya may i-approve natin. No? Saka kanya i-approve to access your application. Ganun siya. Okay. Ayan.
So,
So,
a bit of background din, Tsar, yung two-factor na sinasabi nila, the first factor is what you know.
yun, no?
Yan na yung username and
And password.
password.
Yes.
The second factor is what you have, which is yung token.
Yes.
Kaya two-factor siya. So, for a
Two-factor.
hacker to successfully breach your account, he has to know what you know, and he has to
Yes.
have what you have, which is much more harder. Yeah. Go ahead.
Mas mahirap. Ayun.
Mas
Pero
mahirap na i-break.
pero merong bangko
Wag mo na
na
ikwento. Wag mo na ikwento yung
meron ako. I think na ikwento ko yun sa video kanina eh. Yeah. Pero it's an example of a ano. So I'm actually messaging them for it. Kasi medyo dangerous yung ginawa nila. Oo. Ayun. So, ganyan, no? So, si Google Authenticator is basically a software-based authenticator by Google. And then they implement two-step verification service using TOTP. So, time-based one-time password algorithm and HMAC-based one-time password algorithm. So, paano yun, no? It gives you enough time to enter and then pag hindi mo na ipasok, magbabago yan. No? May
every 5
routine.
minutes.
Every 5 minutes nagbabago siya. So, actually sa amin naka-set up 30 seconds lang. To give
Ay, kailangan mabilis kang mag-type.
Oo, ano lang naman siya, maikli lang naman yung code
Ah,
namin. Oo. So, yan. So, mas mahaba yung digestion library kaysa dun sa code na gagamitin mo. So, para hindi mo talaga siya ma-reuse. Ayan. Then, open source siya and ready to deploy. Dati kasi, ginagawa namin, sineset up pa namin siya sa Google Cloud. We have to open it and OAuth na sinasabi nila, and then it will actually doon siya mag-generate. Ngayon kasi they open it up, so ito, i-follow nyo lang yung github.com, Google Authenticator, and then you have all the libraries na doon. It will also explain how to code it. Ayun. Okay. Okay. So ganito lang yan yung TOTP. So you have the app, and then you have the access to the digestion server. So sabi nga natin kanina, the user log in, and then there's a request, and then the database, and then your system actually I identify that it's you as a person, because kasi yun nga, yung sinasabi natin, it knows that your username and your password is valid. Ayan. And then, ayan. And then it will then contact our digestion server, no, for the secret. Yung may sinasabi tayo secret, it's actually it's a code na specific para sa ano mo, sa application mo. Okay, and then that secret is sync in with your software. So Google Authenticator, sa Google, what you will be doing is inaano mo yan, actually, ang tawag dito, ini-scan mo yung QR code just to get the secret and sync in your app and your application. And then may time, so you are given an ample time. Let's say, for example, sa amin, 30 minutes for 30 seconds, for others hanggang 5 seconds or 5 minutes yung iba. Okay, and then there's a unique cryptographic hash, no? Dapat ito, saka ito, mag ano siya, mag-sync in and pareho at a given time. Pag hindi nag-sync in, let's say na-late ka ng pasok, hindi ka makakalagin. And then, yun nga, sabi nga natin, dapat mag-match yung unique code, and then that is the time na makakapag-login ka pa lang. Ayan. Okay? So, so ganyan lang, ganyan siya mag-work, no? Yung ano natin, OTP. Parang meron lang isa doon na para siyang ledger, titingnan niya lang kung pareho yung ano mo, yung hash mo, no, at a given time. Ayan.
baka
Okay.
naman mahirap i-implement yan, Tsar, doon
Actually,
sa pagka-web developer ka. Pwede mo bang ipapakita mo ba later on how you
uh,
can implement this? Yeah.
yes. Actually sa ano, sa WordPress, sa Plus, they already have the package for it, no?
Yeah.
Pero when you actually code it, ang pinaka-importante is you have the valid base 32, and then you just need to use yung available na code ni Google for it to connect. So yung base 32 lang ang kailangan mo talaga, medyo madugo doon sa kanya. Pero it's easy. The implementation is easy. Hindi for those who are doing WordPress, hindi na nila kailangan ng masyadong trabaho, kasi they just need to install it. No? Pero I will show how it is actually created on our end with our own plugin.
Okay.
Yan. So iano natin 'yan, yung demo natin sa kanya. Okay. Yan. Nababasa ba siya?
Yep. Pero it would be helpful if you can increase the font size.
Yan.
Sige pa ng konti.
Yan.
All right. Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
So we're looking at the admin login of WordPress. This is the
Uh,
interface. Just in case some of you are not familiar with WordPress, it's one of the more popular content management systems.
the CMS natin na ano. Okay. Actually here, unahin ko na to kasi itong Google
Paano
Authenticator.
mo nailagay yung mga plugin files na yan? How did you get to install it in WordPress?
Here in plugins, and then we just upload it.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, ipakita ko muna. Ito kasi yung sa amin na
Mhm.
na ginagamit.
So,
Okay.
yung Google Authenticator by TMDC, kayo yung gumawa ng code na yan.
Oo,
So,
sa
yung
amin.
plugin na yan, is it available to the public for them to just download that plugin and use it on their WordPress site? Or may bayad?
Actually, free ito. Kaya lang, ano to, hindi namin inilabas sa, ano, oo. Ginagamit lang namin siya for our clients, pero
Internal. Internal. Oo.
internal and
Oo.
also with our system. Kasi may ano to, actually yung buong code nito is open source from Google. Then what we just created is the base 32 from
Okay.
them. Oo. So very standard na yung implementation. And halos kapareho to ni Ivan yung implementation ni Ivan. Yung Russian na gumawa rin ng ano ng PHP version ng Google
Mhm.
Authenticator. So dito kasi sa Google Authenticator, this is already open source to. You could get it from Google itself. Kung paano lang siya i-implement.
Mhm.
Okay. So this is usually ito lang yung tinatawag niya si base 32 itong file na to.
Okay.
Ayan. Ayan. So ito pinasok lang natin siya on the login form. Ayan. Then may authenticate. Ayan. Actually 50 seconds sa kanya.
Nilagay mo 50 seconds.
Mm.
So kung
Ayan.
gusto mong gawin 30, you change that value from 50 to 30.
Mm. Yung checking ng OTP niya. Ayan. Then the Ajax Google Authenticator action. So callback natin siya via Ajax. Ayan. Ayan. Ito ano to, this is itong part na to, it is standard for WordPress naman to. And then this part is added uh, on your user profile just
Mhm.
just to embed yung GA. So actually dito per user meron siyang sariling digestion na ano digestion access sinasabi namin. Ayan.
Anong ibig sabihin ng GA when you mentioned GA?
Google Authenticator.
Okay.
Sige,
Okay.
digestion natin. Ayan. So pag nag-login sila, no, they have their own unique ID, no, per user or unique GA digestion ID, and then it generates on its own for them.
Mhm.
So it's very unique with them. Kaya nga let's say for example, nagla-login ako, nakuha ko yung let's say si Sir Mark, nakuha ko yung phone niya, nag-login ako using my account, yung lumalabas na code sa kanya, hindi
Iba.
ko iba, iba, hindi ko pwedeng gamitin as my own. So it's very unique para sa akin yung yung GA na yun.
Mm.
Um, Ayan. Kasi baka isipin ng iba, let's say, pinasok yung account mo, nakuha yung password mo. Tapos itong isa, meron din siyang GA. Tapos meron na siyang na produce na code. Meron na siyang na-generate na code. Eh di pwede niya na rin gamitin yun sa'yo. So just to prevent that, what we did is we bind yung ano mo, yung specific na unique ID mo sa user ID mo lang. Yun. So very important yun. Ayan. Okay. Ayan. And then these are, we also have what we call as the two-screen sign-in, pero what we do is meron na siyang sarili na ano, para hindi na maglo-load. We just use one screen sign-in. So,
Okay.
ayan. Dito lang nilagay lang namin as an option. Baka may iba kasi that they want. Ayan. Then the 6-digit
Can you explain yung two-screen sign-in and ano?
single
How
screen.
does it look like? Oo.
Ah, Bali sa ano sa single sign-in sa single screen sign-in. Pagka sign-in mo, yun, andun na lahat yung fields and then ilalagay mo na lang yung code sa baba.
I see.
Ah,
Ang
yun.
multi-screen, may pop-up
Multi-screen.
ka pa.
Hindi. Pagka login mo, may isa pa na screen na lalabas para lang sa code. Ayan.
Okay.
Yan lang. Ang reason kasi kung bakit nilagay lang namin siya as an option. May mga times kasi kami na napansin because siguro with how our internet goes, minsan hindi na lumalabas, hindi na sila makalagin. So there's a higher chance of failure on logging in. Kasi,
Using multiple screen.
Using multiple screen.
Okay.
Ayan. Ayan. Okay. And then this way, meron din kaming verify levels, no? Check verification, meron kami tinatawag na relax mode, last time slot, and secret, and then this try. So yung relax mode, there's more time to drift, sabi nga natin. So let's say more than 30 seconds, more than 44 minutes, yun yung relax mode. Then last time slot, or and also the normal mode is 30 seconds to 50 seconds lang. Ayan. So ganyan siya. So ito usually ano lang to, integration lang ng kung paano siya mag-interact with your site. Ayan. And then ito na yung decoding ng base 32 mo. So this one, this is already given by Google. First count, your last count, and then yung time, yan siya. So time bound, sabi nga natin, TOTP siya, time bound. So at a given time, dapat yung time na to mag-comply yung code mo and your key with that time
So
na produce yung key. Ayun siya. Then use last nipple of result as index offset. Yan siya. Yan. And then the value. Oh. This one is given by Google. And then ayun, pag gumawa ka kasi ng ano mo, nag-integrate ka nito, i-check niya din sa amin, chine-check din namin kung merong possible na MIM na attack na yung man in the middle attack. So baka merong nag-aano on the middle. So i-ano niya rin yan, i-check niya. I could actually check on the activity ng ano natin, ng
mm,
packets.
mm.
So it's from the
Smart.
browser. Uh,
Yeah.
kasi pag hindi mo lalagyan nito. Nag-authenticate ka. Pwede kasing kopyahin yung packet mo eh. Yung sinasabi nga nila. Yung ginagawa ng mga man in the middle attack. They have the
Mm.
same flow of packets from you as their legit user and the man on the middle. Ngayon si
So
Google.
for the non-techie listeners natin, parang in the olden times, ito yung may party line, di
Oo.
ba?
Oo.
Kala mo kayong dalawang nag-uusap, meron palang ka-party line na nakikinig. Yan yung
Mm.
man in the middle. Yeah.
Oo, yun. So, ayun, nakikita namin siya based from your also from your cache sa browser. It actually works best with Chrome kasi, no? Pero this will also work with Firefox natin,
Mm.
no?
Okay.
Ayan. So, yan. So, sa amin 30 seconds to 50 seconds, so we could just adjust it and then yung ano natin. Okay. Ayan. So medyo mahaba. Ito yung characters natin na inaano. So base 32 siya. Ayan. Allowed characters in base 32.
So
Ayan.
inalis mo na yung mga mga escape codes.
Oh, yun.
Hindi
Hindi
na
na.
pwede.
Hindi pwede. Hindi rin ina-allow ni Google yun.
Oo.
I think may ano siya. May issue sa doon with the escape codes. Ayan. Ayan. Then itong QR code naman, rather than giving you the verify code itself or the what you call this one as the secret key, inaano mo na lang siya via QR code.
So
Ah,
QR code reader na lang ang pang-authenticate mo.
oo. And si Google kasi, Google Authenticator also reads it your via your QR code reader.
So parang sila WhatsApp and si Viber when I install them on my desktop,
Mm.
they publish a QR code and I need to use my phone to read that QR code.
Oo, 'yon. Ayan. Tapos ito na siya. Ito ano na 'to, it's our basic integration na with the menu. Ayan.
Mhm.
Everything that goes beyond. Ayan.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So anything, this is already integration and then just checking natin. Ayan. Yan yung mga roles natin, who are the people who needs it, who are the people who doesn't need it yan. Yun yung roles. Ang ginawa ko, even the admins need to log in with
Hmm.
pero
Per
we gave kasi Um, we gave kasi our users um, those users or those clients to actually have the ano. So they could actually set kung sino. Ayan. Ganyan siya ang itsura niya. Ayan.
And this is specific to your plugin.
Specific to the plugin. Actually, I think pareho din to eh nung kay ano kasi parang kinuha lang din namin from
Mm.
Google. And this is
Ah,
the simplest kasi integration and management. So ito hindi na namin chine-check, hindi rin namin nire-recommend on our end pero may mga clients kasi na gusto na may secondary login screen for you.
Sometimes kasi it's not a wise idea to enable Google two-factor on all the users.
Oo.
Lalo na yung mga ordinary user kasi yung ease of use. If you
Yes.
were to require that, your visitors, site visitors would drop.
Oo, tama, tama.
Yeah.
Yan. 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 Ayan, nag-generate na siya. Ayan.
Yan.
Oo, ito na 'yon yung sinasabi ko kanina na from the digestion it will be generate this one. So base 32 din dapat siya. Ayan, and then you just use your app, no. Ayan. Si Sir, ayan na niya na mamaya. I think he will also be using if he will be using Ivan's plugin, it will be the same process.
I
Ayan.
see.
So, yun lang.
So, i-demo mo kung paano mag-login using two-factor on
Sige.
that website.
Sige. Pero ano,
Dala
tapos
mo ba dala mo ba telepono mo?
oo, dala ko siya.
Ah,
Ready ko na.
okay.
Ready ko na siya. Ayan, so
Sige,
just to
sige.
ano, so this is more part this is more of this part eh. Itong nandito na usually mga integrations lang to. Yan. Then the OTP, yan. Okay. So pero ito yung pinaka-importante, no? Kasi we're
Okay.
just ayan, ito ang pinaka-importante.
Binigay mo naman na yung link to the GitHub eh. So yung
Oo.
mga developers can go to that link and download the required code for
Yes.
them to be able to implement.
Yes. Nawala yung code. Okay. Ano ko nga muna, nilock niya na eh. Yan ako lang. So, actually, ganito yan. Ganito lang siya mag-work. So, bago ko mag-continue, inilock na nung 2FA kasi yung ano natin, yung dashboard. Oo.
Okay.
Yun
So
lang
you need
din.
to authenticate.
Mag-authenticate na. Ito siya. So, ayan. Ako nakikita. Actually, ito, yung app. So, I'm not sure kung kitang-kita siya. So, ang gagawin ko kasi rito,
Medyo bright masyado.
bright ata masyado. Pag dark naman, hindi siya makita.
Hindi, basta we trust you that there will be a series of digits coming out. Or
Okay.
kaya QR code mo na lang siya. Yeah.
So i-QR code na natin siya ngayon. So ganito lang naman 'yan. Ang bilis eh, mabilis lang yung niya. And then lagay lang natin. Yeah.
So yan yung code na pinadala ni Google sa cellphone mo.
Sa
So kung
cellphone.
yung hacker, kahit alam niya even though the hacker knows your login details, if he does not have possession of your cellphone,
Yes.
what?
Wala
He
din.
cannot breach your account.
Yes. Tapos in chances, meron namang let's say man in the middle, sabi ko kanina as an added layer, madedetect naman ni Google Authenticator. So let's say meron lang talagang napakagaling na ano niya, na sagap niya yung code mo, no, during the process. Ngayon, bago pa niya maipasok 'yon, ma-detect na. Kasi yung cache nung session dapat pareho for you to be able to enter it. Ayan, at a given time. Okay. Just to ano no, kung paano namin lang nakikita, it's very simple. Sinasabi ko kaninang man in the middle attack. Ang ginagawa lang nung code namin is just check, no. Titingnan niya lang talaga kung pareho kayo ng session ID. Oh, ayun. na magpapasok. So let's say for example ito, meron pa akong isang tao na nag-login on the same account, no? Pinasok niya the same code. Pareho kami na malalogout and malalockout from WordPress. And then lalabas na error doon na para siyang mayroong na-detect na parang man in the middle attack. Ganon.
I see.
Yan.
Okay.
Yan.
Smart. That's smart.
Oo. Ayan lang. Yun lang yung ginawa na kasi very ano lang.
Mm.
Yan. Tapos ito yung pinaka-importante talaga. Sa the
Saan mo
code is,
makukuha yung base 32 na PHP? Dina-download ba yan o ikaw mismo gumawa niyan?
actually ginawa na namin kasi um, meron sila yung standard pero hindi nila binigay yung ano, yung code on how to do it. O
Mm,
kaya yung code na nandoon na. So what we just did is um, we just use our ito yung class na base 32. Actually si PHP meron nito. Yung base 32 and then base 64. So usually 20% lang kasi yung kailangan natin. Uh, um yan. I mean, requires 20% more space than base 64. Kaya naka-base 32 tayo.
I see.
Mm,
Okay.
ayan. So, ganito lang, no? Nilagay namin on the array yung base 32 acceptable ano natin. Tawag natin dito, characters. Ayan. And then, private static. So, flip map lang namin siya, then we put it on an array. Ayan, 0. So, si A, ayan. So, yung 1, yung 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mo, iba rin yung ano niya. Ayan. So, may mga sarili siyang mga beats. Ayan.
Okay.
Okay. And then, use padding false, and then, ayan. Name code niya lang. Ayan siya.
So yan yung kino-call din ng Google Authenticator, yung base32.php. Is there
Oo.
any reason why you're not using the base 64 at base 32 ang ginamit mo?
Una kasi it's the standard ni Google natin, and yun nga, where we require 20% more space than yun nga, sabi natin, than base 64. Yan. And then actually si Google um, ayaw niya ng ibang ano, ayaw niya ng ibang dagdag na ano just to authenticate your application. Kasi on the end, when you're generating the secret key, it only identify these characters. Isa rin yun na reason. Ayan.
Okay. While we're discussing two-factor authentication, although it significantly increases your security posture,
Mm.
do not let that lull you into a false sense of security.
Yes.
Determined hackers can still breach your two-factor authentication.
Yes.
So, kukwento ba natin, Sir, how other hackers are doing that?
Yes. Ako meron akong experience on how
Sige, ikaw muna.
yes, and how did it happen? No? Actually, there's this bank, no, which
Oo.
I will be disclosing it to them. Bakit
Huwag
dangerous
mo na
yung
lang banggitin yung
uh,
pangalan ng bangko.
yung ginawa nila. Pero they're actually the biggest on digital dito sa atin. Okay, so what happened is they have this two-factor authentication na system. Okay, what they did is they included even the key.
Oh
No?
no.
They
Oo.
included that on the application.
Mhm.
Okay, ang danger kasi natin doon, let's say nawala mo yung phone, and then ang nangyayari ngayon, tinest ko yung app. Ngayon, nasi-save yung password mo eh. Nasi-save yung password mo sa phone. I'm not sure, baka gumamit sila ng it's not native or something, pero every time na nagla-login ako, nasi-save yung password ko on the phone, on the password library ni ano. So pwede mo na may cancel 'yon ano. Ang pagkakamali ko lang kasi I allowed it, no. And then ngayon, nagka-develop sila ng way to integrate 2FA, two-factor authentication. Okay. Ngayon, ang naging problema naman when they integrated the two-factor authentication, it is not allowed on a different device. So, nasa isang device ka lang din mag-authenticate.
So kung nawala yung cellphone mo, wala ka
Mm-mm.
na.
Wala na. Okay. Kasi ganito yun, tinry ko. So, I have two phones. What I did is I tested it in two phones. I tried to log in at the same time. Ngayon, nung pag-login ko dito sa isa, pinasok ko na yung 2FA na na-generate, nakalagin na ako. Ngayon, nag-try akong mag-login dito sa another phone, the same account. Ang nangyari, hindi na lumabas yung two-factor authentication. Hindi na siya nag-require.
Oh, no.
Yun yung reason kung bakit ako gumawa ng ganong system on our end na
Oh, teka. May bug bounty program ba yung bangkong yan? Pwede mong pagkakitaan ng pera yan.
I'm not sure. Pero sabi nila nag-open daw sila ng bug bounty eh.
Okay.
Oo.
So, sa mga hindi nakakaintindi, ang bug bounty ay isang programa ng mga companies that if you submit mga bug reports and they find it to be valid, they will reward you with cash incentives. So, bug
Mm.
bounty. Yon.
Oo.
Yun namang ibang other way, social engineering naman ginagamit ng mga ibang hacker. So for example, si Marvin, alam ko marami yung kanyang Bitcoin wallet or whatever, no? Or sa bangko. So gusto kong i-hack yung pera niya sa bangko. Alam ko na yung, dahil magaling ako na hacker, alam ko na yung password and account niya. Pero wala sa akin yung telepono. Eto na, they will call up your cell phone provider and say and impersonate you. Ako po si Marvin. Hinold up po ako, maawa na po kayo. Yung pati cellphone ko tinangay. So I need a replacement cell phone with the same number and SIM. O yun.
Mm.
Kaya ngayon yung mga wag kayong magagalit kung yung mga telco pagka nag-request ka na palitan yung SIM, marami nang tatanungin sa iyo. Hindi ka basta-basta bibigyan ng bagong replacement.
Mm.
Yun ang dahilan nun.
Mm.
Okay.
Ay-
Any question? Mark, how are you finding the discussion, Mark? Are you okay?
So far, so good naman po.
Are you planning to implement two-factor authentication or have you already done two-factor authentication?
Ay, yung next project ko po, mag-implement po kami ng two-factor authentication po.
So okay. So the things that Tsar shared with us today, do you find them useful for your project? Okay. So Tsar, take it away. Back to you.
Ayan. Kaya siguro I will just give recommendations na lang with So it's very much standard when you actually integrate um Google Authenticator. Ito pa lang kasi on this part kasi natin, it's more on creating pa lang our secret key. So it's also base 32 for it. Ayan. And then you encode from this one, you will then be encoding it into binary. I mean, base convert into ordinal. Yung sabi nga ng ordinal nga, sabi nga nila. Ayan. So, these are the ordinal values or yung integer value niya. Ayan. Okay. And then, so ang natatanggap lang on each end is the digested value niya, not the string. Ayan. Kahit na naka-base 32 tayo na string, what it will be sending is this one. Itong ordinal natin. Or ayan. Okay. And then it will be mapping it. Ayan, pag isinan na. So, ganun lang. And then it will then be, ito, yung QR code naman na, siya na yung mag-generate ng code for the converted natin na base. Ayan. So, yan ito. This one is very important. I think this is also open source yung nila, yung how to do it. they didn't actually give the actual code for base 32. So you just need to follow this standard, the 4648, yung RFC 4648 natin. Ayan. Okay. So, ayun. So, yung tip ko lang, no, when you're actually implementing two-factor authentication, your your user authenticator app shouldn't be on the same app as what they're trying to log in. No, let's not copy how this bank actually did. It's very dangerous. Another thing is make it as short as possible yung input time, no. Bakit kailangan siya na as short as possible? Kasi it gives the hacker lesser time to input it, no. Let's say for example nakuha niya yung what you have, yung sinasabi natin what you have, nakuha niya yan, um, nakuha niya yan, nalaman nila nakuha nila yung code mo. So siguro one thing is there should be not enough time for them to really put it once na nakuha nila. And then next siguro na tip na ibibigay ko is yung kagaya ng ginawa namin na it scans the session ID. So dapat parehong computer, parehong browser siya. Yun yung point of ano namin of way to check. Actually ito pag nag-login ako sa different isinabay ko yung login nitong backend ko for this one on let's say nag-open ako ng Firefox and then this one hindi ilalock ka din niya kasi madidetect niya na magkaiba na ng session ID.
Correct. Yeah.
Yan. At the same point in time, yes siya. Or in the same time period, no. Ayun. Yan. So, yun yung mga tips na isa na ibibigay ko. And then, as much as possible, we're basically with how Google Authenticator do it they give you the when you actually use their digestion servers, sila naman kasi they will prevent as much as possible um, yung hindi mo mari-recycle yung code. The reason kung bakit hindi mo mari-recycle yung code, the factor kung ilan yung user na gumagamit will be added as a factor for randomization, no. Nagge-generate ka na on your end and then it doesn't actually let you and then it randomize based on the number of users. Ngayon, yung on that time period, dapat specific yon sa user, yung code na yon. And it can't be used by another user. Ganun siya. So, yun yung kagandahan kasi ng time period OTP or yung TOTP. No? Yan din. When you implement this one, make the binding specific to the user. Don't let it be general to everyone.
Yeah.
Ayan.
And Sir, hang on. Let me give a short shout out to our friends on Facebook joining us. Si Ma'am Eloisa Tino, Jose Marie Cabalia, Koibi Estampador, and Clifford Trigo are online sa Tech News Manila Bulletin. Yeah. And thank you for joining us. If you have questions, just type it in and we'll ask Tsar to help us out.
Ayan.
Yeah. Back to you again, Tsar.
See. Ayan, so basically yun lang. Ganun lang kaikli yung ano ko. So, an overview of how you could code it and the standards on creating your base 32 file and the algorithm on how you implement it. So it's very standard for Google Authenticator. Ayan, itong ganito. Yan. Okay, so I think if we have any questions before I show the thank you slide.
Okay. Any questions? Sir Koibi, Clifford. Shy siguro, shy. Anyway, sige, Tsar, go ahead with your thank you slide. And we have two more presentations. So what Tsar showed you is from a web developer's point of view. And then see Marvin and Justin will show you yung paano kung hindi ka naman developer? How can you take advantage of Google two-factor authentication? Yon.
Yan.
Thank you for listening. Thank you, Tar, for sharing with us your expertise as usual. Marami kaming natututunan sa mga presentation mo. And so, Justin, Marvin, who among you will go first?
Sir, ako na lang po sir mauna.
Sige, Marvin, go ahead. Share mo
Yes,
na
sir.
yung screen mo.
Okay po. Sir, so we have here sir the slides for the mga end user, yung mga hindi po developer or techie.
Okay.
How to sir apply Google Authenticator in just 3 easy steps.
3 easy
Parang
steps.
sir.
I like.
Yes sir. Parang sir, parang lang yung sa recipe ng sa mga sinigang mix ganun sir.
Okay. Maganda adlib mo, padre. May bonus yan, may bonus.
Okay po sir. So ang gagamitin natin sir ngayon is Google Authenticator. Tas yung plugin is Wordfence. Actually yung the name of the plugin is Wordfence Login Security. So first
Maling screen yung pinapakita mo. Presenter screen yung na-share mo. I-share mo yung yung slide screen mo.
oh wait. Wait sir.
Ulit. Take 2.
Asan yung slides? Ito. Ito po sir. Sir, okay na po sir? Wait lang, ano ba yan?
Di bali na. Just go ahead. Go on. Nakikita pa naman yung screen mo eh. Mali lang
Okay,
yung
sir.
screen na napili mo eh.
Okay po sir. So ito na po siya sir. Let's proceed na po dun sa next slide. So sir, after installing sir the plugin, go to the login security sir ng Wordfence. So sir, you need to sir, magpa-prompt sir yung screen. Andun sir yung barcode, then yung
QR code.
activation. Yes sir, ayun sir, QR code. Sir, sa next slide, I will show you how to install your or activate your two-factor authenticator and how to set up Google Authenticator. So ito sir yung first screen.
So recap, in-install mo na yung Wordfence doon sa
Yes, po, sir.
WordPress na site. And then what you're now showing is how to bind the Google QR code to your particular cell phone.
Yes po sir.
Doon sa cellphone mo, naka-load na yung Google Authenticator na software.
Apo sir.
Okay. Sige, show.
Sir, ito sir yung we have here the 3 videos, easy steps how to bind Google Authenticators for WordPress two-factor. So yun sir, you need to press then scan. Yes sir. Magpa-pop out sir yung code. Then type it on the text box.
That's on the WordPress na. Okay.
Yes sir. Then sir, click activate.
Okay.
Yes sir.
So installed, activated na yung WordPress site mo via Wordfence with your cell phone.
Yes po sir.
Okay. So
And sir, after that, you need to add account. So for every time sir na mag-login kayo, para meron na siyang OTP. Yes, sir.
correct. Okay. Excellent. Yeah.
And sir, ito na sir yung kay Sir Zar kanina po. Pwede niyo po siyang i-enable for administrator, editor, author, etc.
Okay.
Ito sir, for the time interval, ito sir yung maganda sa Google Authenticator. Meron siyang time. Tsaka sir, parang mabilis sir yung time interval niya.
If we wanted
sir,
it shorter or longer, pwede ba nating palitan or default na yan? Hindi mo na mapalitan.
I think sir, this is default na po.
Okay.
Ang nagustuhan ko lang sir sa Google Authenticator, efficient siya. Kasi sir, may mga OTP for text. Minsan yung mga text na nadidelay ng 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Tama. By
Sa
the time you get
Authenticator,
it, expired na siya.
Yes po sir, yun po. Yun po sir, nagustuhan ko sa kanya.
Great, great. So is that your last slide? O meron
Yes
pa?
po sir.
Okay. So, yeah. Justin, can you show naman yung Ples integration? So in the world of data hosting, you have two types of control panel. The C panel and Ples. So we're heavily into Ples, and so I asked Justine to research how do we enable two-factor for our hosted clients on their Ples. So Justine will show us how easy it is to do it.
So, ayan po. So, continuation of the presentation of Marvin lang po ito. Ganun lang po kasimple yung yung gagawin natin doon. So sa class naman po, we are going to use the Google Authenticator. And punta po tayo doon sa may Google Authenticator extensions. So ano na din po siya doon, parang naka-installed. Parang ganun po yung meron po dun sa may...
Available ng plugin.
Yes po, sir. Parang ganun po. Available plugin na po siya. Opo.
So you only have to click on it to install it on the Ples.
Yes po, sir. Parang ganun po. So, yan po. Enable lang po natin yung multi-factor authentication po natin dun sa Ples po.
Okay.
Next is, yun, scan po natin yung barcode na manggagaling po sa Google Authentication po. Make sure lang po na you have installed Google Authenticator app.
Question. Paano kung nawala mo yung cellphone mo? Hindi ka na makapag-login forever
Parang
and ever.
ano po, dun po sa Remember Device in Days po, yung code na po yun is available lang po siya sa isang araw po. Parang 24 hours lang po siya.
I see. No, so let's say after 24 hours, nawala mo yung cellphone mo. What's your backup plan?
Yun lang po, sir. Parang ano po, sir? Parang
Di ba
doon po sa settings po, di ba may roles po doon, sir? Pwede pong maging backup as ano po, pwede po nilang enable po yun para po hindi na po makapag ibang account po. Parang ganun po.
Alam ko yung mga Google Authenticator allows you to print
Sir, may
emergency code, right?
may ano po sir, after authenticating sir, meron sir dong lalabas na recovery code na naka-text file
yun,
siya.
recovery code.
Yes sir.
Yeah. So best practice din yan na meron kang recovery code just in case you lose your cell phone.
Yes po sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes po, sir. So, ayan po siya. I-scan lang po natin. Hindi po natin siya pwedeng i-record po through phone kasi po super po siya, secured po siya kasi pag gagawin po natin siyang screen capture, mag-blank po yung screen po natin. Kaya yun po yung parang kinagandahan po sa may Google Authenticator po.
Okay.
So, ayan po. Sobrang bilis lang po siya.
So, doon sa kabila, yan. Ine-enter mo na yung
Add account
code.
po. Yes po, sir.
Add account. So, every time you visit that particular website, you need to enter the numbers or the code on that one. So, if you had another website, you'd go through the same process and you would have a second line and second number.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
good.
Yan lang po, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yes,
Thank
po,
you.
sir. Thank you po, sir.
Very good, Marvin and Justin. Thank you for sharing that with us. Mark, any comments so far, Mark? Okay ka lang?
besides po sa QR code, may iba pa po bang way para ma-access yung two-factor? Or QR code lang po talaga?
Teka. Who you are, what you know, and what you have. Yun ang mga tenets of security. So, meron pang isa, yung who you are, biometrics. So, fingerprint scan, iris scan, baka pwedeng facial recognition din. Pero syempre, alam mo mga kliyente natin gusto rin na very cost-effective solution. So, itong Google Authenticator, libre naman, wala naman tayong babayaran. Madali lang i-activate at madali lang gamitin. So, Justin, are we introducing this to all our clients so that their authentications are now two-factor?
Yes po, sir. Sa akin po, sir, parang advisable din po siya na gawin po natin siyang extension sa class po natin,
Yeah.
sa website po natin. Kasi mas lalo na po ngayon, madami na pong hackers na gumagawa po talaga ng paraan para po ma-access yung isang website po. Ganun po. Makuha po yung mga information na hindi po dapat makuha. Parang ganun po.
Correct. Yeah. And so with that, I think we're at the end of our time. We have 4 more minutes. So any questions from our online audience? Tignan lang natin kung merong question. Kung wala, it's time to say goodbye. And thank you for listening. Paki-share naman yung itong audio na ito, if itong webinar, if you find it helpful for your buddies. All right? Tar, again, thank you, Tar.
Thank
And
you.
Mark, thank you for joining us.
Thank you
Again,
po, sir.
sige, bye-bye.
Yan po.
Bye-bye.
Bye po, sir.
Thank you po, sir.